Hello and welcome to Rainy Day Crafting. Okay, date is 28th, so only a cut 28, 29, 30. Three more cards in my 30-day challenge. Okay, today we're going to, this might take a little bit longer, but I've tried to sort of get ahead of it for you as well, so I don't keep you on for forever. What we're going to do is a shaker card and use a little globe, but I thought that's okay, but I actually, typically me, I want to adapt it slightly bigger. So just to get ahead of things, I'm going to show you what I've done. So because I want to make it bigger, not massively bigger, but just because it would sort of fit the card better. What I then did is cut out quite a few of these. These are I don't think I've actually got any plain ones, to be fair. The stitch dies, you get a nested dies, all different sizes, yeah. So what I've done is stuck a couple together. Oh, hang on, let's just go, hang on, rewind a little bit. First of all, on the bigger size bit of, it's not the biggest size of these, but what I've used of the big stitch die, I've cut out the acetate. You probably can't see it very well, but the acetate sometimes cuts really well, but I think as long as you've got the gist and you can then sort of cut it out, that's fine. So remember to dust it with one of those bags. I mean, mine's a self-made bag because I'm a sewer and things, and I've just got corn flour in mine and a bit of some material I had. So hang on, I think that's okay. Just you don't want any extras either. So just while I remember, because it's one of them things I forget to do, if I'm honest. I just do that both sides, then there won't be any fingerprints on it, and the glitter won't stick as much, where you don't want it. Okay, so what I'd had gone along and cut out a few of these because you need to build it up and give it a little bit of depth to it. Okay, and then because the base was smaller, I'm thinking, well, actually that part of the base will fit on there perfectly all right, won't make it top heavy. So what I then did was gone along with my sort of scrappy bits and cut out a few of these. So I'm just going to literally, because I want to build that up. So okay, as you can see, there's sort of a few here. They're all going to now have all their bits fall out. Keep little hearts and all the things that are in them, because they will come in handy. We can paper piece them back in later. Don't know how many I actually want within. Oh, this creamy cardboard, you're going to laugh. Do you know where that come from? I keep all my scraps. This is when we do, our testing that we have to sort of regularly do. Well, that card that come with it, recycle it because it's perfectly good. So it's actually a creamy colour, actually. So if against there, it's got a cream. So then what I have done, I cut out the silver because I thought, well, actually the silver base will look quite nice on there. I'm going to laugh, actually, although I'm doing a little like crystal ball globe or snowball, I'm actually a psychic. I was a nurse for 30 odd years in the NHS, back right up to ward sister and things. But I've been a practicing psychic for years and years and years and years. And I actually work there's a company called Psychic Today. I've worked for them 9 years, I think. So anyway, that's just a little side note. Sorry, I'm chatting. So what I'm going to do is cut all these little bits off so we can build them up, because we want that to be a sort of decent basis to standing on. So probably because I've done, I'll try and show you with these. I've cut out some smaller ones. I've already, just to sort of get ahead of myself, stuck a couple of the bigger size together. Okay, so they've sort of been overnight and stuck together. So all I did was put some glue around there and popped a couple there. So what I now want to do, although we're doing this, hold on, I'll just finish doing this first. Come on, Sarah, get with it. So a couple of them is probably all we need. Glue bottle. With these glues, it allows you a little bit of wiggle room. Yeah, just mush them together. I suppose actually it won't matter if it sits a little bit proud. Okay, that's beige, which is fine, but oh, might help if I have to do it that way now. Didn't really matter because this is the base. Okay, so it's just thickening up, and then let's put it on the right side this time. This is basically how I did the rings. You can make this shaker, you know, as the depth as much as you want. Okay, so this is the beauty of when you sort of use the liquid glue. It does give you a little bit of time to sort of to clean it up afterwards. It's the only thing with when you use silver or all that, you have to be careful you don't get any glue on it. So that's ready like that for now. Now remember, I'd already done a couple of these because can you see it sits in there perfectly? Okay. Do you know what? I might change that. No, I won't, because I'm a bit disappointed the glue's on there. By the way, I'm using my sort of typical 6x6 cards, but the plain ones, you know, because I absolutely love the textured one, but that doesn't necessarily need the texture with here. So I'm just using a plain one there. So you can imagine how it's going to be. But I'm going to do some other steps, because sometimes when you start doing your stamping and things, and then do other things, it all sort of curl up a little bit. But as long as I know where I'm sort of putting things, it's absolutely fine. So that's like that. But so because I want to let it dry, that I literally need to just put some glue. This is a bit of perspex or acetate, sorry. I suppose acetate is very thin perspex, I suppose, isn't it? But anyway, again, this is a bit of packaging that I've kept, and sometimes you find to sort of let it it's quite hard to cut, but you can then finish off with scissors anyway. So there we have that like that. And literally stick it on there. Ideally, leave it for a while. Yeah. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is stick another one over the top of that, so a sandwich in that piece of acetate in between. Okay, whoops, just move slightly. So there we have perfect. Okay, what I'm thinking of going to do, that's not ever so pronounced, so whether I really need, now thinking about it, a couple more layers. So which is possible because that's going to be going on there. So although I thought I'd most definitely finished, I might just have to just do a couple more layers. All right, so let's just put that to one side. Bit of a weight on it to weight that down. Okay, so remember I'd stuck two pieces together, then with a bit of acetate, and then another one of the circles on top. I actually think now I actually need a couple more underneath. All right, let me just make sure I've got some other card at the ready. Do you know what? Actually, some of that packaging I was then chatting about will do. So let me just quickly run another one of these through. Maybe one more is all it needs. So let's just get, you need all your layers on. Top layer, card in. What I tend to do is put a little bit of masking tape, so they stay in the same place, because then you can use them over and over again Picked up a few hairs, I think, from the masking. Dog's hair, I don't know. So there we go. And back again. Right. When you're using layers, use up all your scraps of cardboard. Like I think I've probably mentioned quite a few times, generally, because it's underneath, you know. And yes, your supplies, it's good to have loads of supplies, but things like this that are underneath, and keep the middle piece because that can be used. I keep them in a bag, but obviously can you see as cream, but it doesn't matter for this. So here we now have, I was thinking about doing a couple, but I think I'll be able to get away with just using the one. Okay, so put that onto one side. That one's already there with the acetate. That is fine. Now, while they're all drying and doing their stuff, because this was the one which I did a smaller size, and you just run it through quite a few times, but for, you know, for the purposes of showing you how I did this, how you layer it up, glue in between, you can make it a much thicker layer if you wish, entirely up to you. So now here's what we're going to use. I do believe this is a magazine I had years ago. People might recognize it if you're crafters. I just thought they were gorgeous little hedgehogs, and so I'm actually using those. Okay, and what I'm thinking of doing is putting them straight on. Okay, so, and there's this little saying, happy Christmas to you, which is rather cute, isn't it? So which can sit there, and if I just sort of double check it for size, yeah, we've just got to make sure that that actually goes in the right place. I apologise if this is now going to be just a little bit longer video, but I want you sort of, I mean, I've sort of tried to sort of get things a little bit ready too, but this is so you can sort of appreciate sometimes that little bit more work in a card is lovely. So that's going to go there. So what you need to do, actually, although that card, again, pop that over there, that little dust bag. That will make sure there's nothing that shouldn't be on there. So these are just literally magnetic. I want to make sure that's pretty central as to where that's going. Pop that there. Oh, I suppose I could do that, because you probably, once you put the, no, it don't fit very well actually, so I'll have to go that way. Right, so that's going to go about there. Remove, oops, remove that. Still where I want to be. Now we're going to shut the door on it. Just like that. These stamping platforms, after I finish my 30 days, I might pop on here and do a suggestion, seeing Christmas is round the corner, as to maybe what I feel is my 10 top possibilities, you know, for when you're... Now, I could have stamped that with different colours just to sort of save doing any colouring, but anyway, I've done it like that now, so the way it's done. Lovely. I'm going to just take that out of there and put that out of the way for now. Just so it's... Now over. This is embossing powder, in case you just come across me and think, okay, what are you doing with that? It's just clear embossing powder, okay? The stamp I used, I know anybody who's watching regularly will know what I'm talking about. This is the VersaFine Onyx Black for fine details, and look at that, the fine details like on that hedgehog is perfect. So great stuff as far as I'm concerned, so much so I would sort of say I think it's the best on the market. So obviously others are available. So right now my heat gun, as I call it, my magic tool. Here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. There we have, very nicely done, she says. Can you sort of see when you do sort of, sometimes it makes your card sort of bend up a bit, so that's why I'm rather do this first than then try and apply it all together. Just a tip, but you sort of do it whichever way you're happy with. So there we have it. Could just make sure it's dry. Then just for quickness, you could paint this, you could crayon this, you could do anything you like. Let's just put Christmassy. We'll just have a little bit of red. And when you've embossed with this powder, it's, I don't know how much you can see, it stands up a little bit, which is great. So let's do his gloves as well, same. Right, there's one. Berries. Should be sort of classically, let's have him in a yellow, a little bit bright. I mean, you know, you could really go to town and colour all the little bits, entirely up to you, but I'm just sort of, or maybe have yellow boots. Let's have him very coordinated. So yellow boots, scarves and hats each. That's lovely. Let's just have red boots. Maybe in the new year I'll get one of my children or daughter-in-law to show me how to sort of fast forward all this, okay? Because I generally don't want to sort of keep you on here for ages. I apologise, this might be a little bit of a longer one. Anyway, so that's that. Maybe just a little bit of green on the mistletoe. Do you know what? I'm getting carried away now because you almost forget I've got a camera on. I'm just going to do this. That sort of face and tell me, look. Wasn't going to colour them at all, but there we go. Do you know what? I really feel another look, just slightly different colour in the green. Although to be fair, behind the globe you'll hardly see it. Anyway, there we have that. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to glue that down. Actually, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to be able to raise that up a little bit. I've got some of these scripts. I had been looking for these everywhere, and then I come across them on that good old Amazon. I think there's 1,000 in the packet. Look at this. So when you're working, they're easy to peel off. But the trick with this, oh, she says, very easy to peel off. But what we need to do is make sure, and I'll just try and put it so you can see in the light. I might put 2 layers because you don't want to be that when you put this down. I might just have to make sure I'm sort of taking my time because you don't want any of this to create little holes, because you know what's going to happen, your glitter's going to come out. And in a way, there's nothing worse than you know, open a card and you, I suppose it's quite novel, but you know, you get covered in glitter. So here we go again. Probably this sort of width would probably take 2 quite nicely. You could still do this with regular sticky back foam tape. That'll take you forever, purely because this is being thin little strips. It's much more manipulative, I suppose, isn't it? It's a big word. Right, so really, I might be able to get away with one. But if I want to raise it up a bit. Obviously, when you peel it off the other back end, well, they come off quite easily. You can actually get, like I say, this is actually the first time I've now used these. Right, now for the card. You want that. This was probably, again, given more time, I would put my weighted thing on there for a while, because you want to really make, even just by pushing this down here now while I'm showing you, that will sort of put it in its right place. Okay, it might squash down a tiny little bit there now. That's annoying. Don't like. So not bad. Now what we're now going to do, remember the piece we did earlier here with the acetate. But before I do that, where is my little bit? Here it is. This might as well just put that down. Okay, so bit of glue on the back of there. But again, this is a bit like the cracker card yesterday. It was a cracker to make up a little cracker that you can put on the tree, you know, little gifts in and things like that. But then I used the cracker as, cut the little tags off and used it differently. And like this little globe, oops, you want to use this, but actually make, I don't know if I'll have to just double check if I can you see that's left some glue marks on there, which is a bit of a shame. So that's there, that's ready. I'm just raising up just a little bit there. Right, but can you see, just going back to the little hedgehogs, bless them, when you've used the embossing powder, once that give it a lovely sheen, and you could have done it the other way around, but I just think build the card up like this. But you know, this is just tips. You can do it however you so choose. Right, so we've got my piece of acetate here, which again I'm now going to pop I'm actually doing two pieces together here to give it a but can you sort of see how using this foam like this you can manipulate it around, and you can't see it the other side, so two pieces together. You could do one, and the thing is though, you literally want to make sure it meets together, because quite a thickness. One more. If I remember, I think these were I want to stick together to take a couple from the other end. So I want to use a couple together. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. So I'm sort of patiently doing this because don't want to be there's any gap. because those little sprinklers, a bit like water, will get out. So now, before I take that off, I just really go around and check that everywhere is nicely done. I don't know what millimetre that is, probably a couple of millimetres. It probably says on the packet. Hold on, 2 seconds. I don't know, I've just mislaid the packet. Does it tell you? No, I should think it's two or 3 millimetres. I should think. Anyway, just if you just put on in Amazon thin foam strips, you'll find it. But it's the first lot I've now had, and I'm really impressed with them. Right, now back to the card. Like I say, they do bend up a little bit, so this is where you just want to keep them nice and flat. Now here I've got some lovely little glitter. So obviously you want enough to be able to give the old sprinkle. I should think that's enough. The thing is, if there isn't, no, that's enough, I'm sure. So now that's in there. And then take all these little backing. Let me see if I can find the ends really well with this, and then I can't find one. I'm sort of consciously not trying to touch it too much because you don't want to be there to actually right, that's one. Fingers crossed they're exactly where they need to be. Now line it up well. I don't know how sort of super sticky this then is. Hang on. Just make sure that's there. Now the moment of truth. There we have your card. So don't think any's coming out of there, but this is probably where actually, although I've now showed you, the shaker card in use, I'd probably be tempted to then just leave it, with a block on there to settle down. Now, okay, it's quite a little plain card, so maybe we just put a little bit of an edge around there just to sort of finish it off. Let's have a little look. What sort of edge would, or a couple of, I haven't now got any here handy, but you could put a couple of holly leaves in the corner or something. Oh, I tell you what, we haven't finished. Hold on, she says. I'm going to just pop these into a pokey tool. One of those, a star, these will obviously sit in here because they're sort of quite deep. Another heart. Turn it round down. Yeah, I would probably, I'm not sure if somebody's coming out. Oh no, so somehow, but I think the trick is making sure you're sort of sealing it in between. It's definitely got a bit of a glitter on the card too. I just move that side. Okay. Anyway, as you can see, you've got oh, sorry, I'm looking out my window, snowing. Snowing in my card and snowing there. Quite gorgeous though, isn't it? Lovely little card. But I probably would just put maybe a couple of little holly leaves. I'm just trying to think if I've got anything in a holly leaf really handy to stamp and show you. I think I wanted to do a little bit of a tidy up. They're all out the way at the moment. Oh, actually, got a few little stars. Hey, nothing like a star around, is there? Is there? Oh yeah, do you know what? Something like that. I did just need just a little something else, which actually then sort of coordinates. So a bit of glue. So some of that rainbow card I've got, which, oh, I love. Don't want to sort of detract too much. Do you know, that might be enough. Because sometimes you can detract too much from what it is. Anyway, move my rubbish out of the way. Hope you enjoyed. There we have my latest card. Till tomorrow. Thank you.